Hi and welcome to Eden. I'm Kenneth. Today we're going to set up a Mosaic miner on Windows using the Windows subsystem for Linux, or WSL for short. Alright, let's get to it. Now, the best way to follow along in this tutorial is to open up our GitHub guide. The link is in the description below, because without that guide it's going to be hard to follow along. Alright, first we need to set up WSL and install Ubuntu. So start up PowerShell with your admin rights. Now set the default version of WSL, update WSL, and then install Ubuntu. Pretty easy. Alright, so set your username and password. Once you've done that, it will start Ubuntu. But let's just exit that and we will start Ubuntu from its shortcut in the start menu instead, just to make sure that it runs. Now remember, as always, just copy and paste from our GitHub guide. It just makes things quick, easy and simple for you. And as always, the first thing you should do is to make sure your operating system is up to date. Now, we're going to make sure that WSL and CUDA work nicely together. So just follow along with what I'm doing and copy and paste the command one line at a time. So, the repository is added, we have updated the package list. Now let's install the CUDA toolkit. Now installing this toolkit takes a while, so I'm going to fast forward that. Alright, that's the CUDA toolkit installed. Now let's move on to Docker. Now first we want to make sure that there is no version that will conflict with our install. And this will run through and uninstall all conflicting versions. Next, we add the official Docker GPG key and install certificates. Then we add the repository to apt sources. We update the package list and we install Docker. Now, we also need to make sure that the user is added to the Docker group. Alright, so now it's good to verify that Docker was installed correctly. And you can do this by running docker hello world. Alright, let's move on to installing the NVIDIA Container Toolkit. First, configure the repository. Now, we set this up in this installation to use experimental packages. That's optional. Alright, again, update the package list and install the NVIDIA Container Toolkit. Alright, now that's done. Let's move on to installing some dependencies. Update the path, and if needed, add the line to the end of your bash RC file. And as you can see, we have already added that line, so we don't need to do that again. Now exit and save the file. Now, because we just installed Poetry together with all the dependencies, you need to restart your shell to make sure it works correctly. So just go ahead and exit and start up Ubuntu again. Now, before we continue, let's just test that commune-ai is working and install as it should. Alright, so an easy way to do that is just list all the modules. Now, on the Mosaic mainnet is on subnet 14, so let's list all the modules on subnet 14. Now you do this by adding --netuid 14 to the end here. Nice and easy. Okay, so that is working good, and we have a full list of validators and inactive miners and all kinds of stuff, but that means that this is working. Let's move on to the next step. The next step is that we need to have a key that is stored on this computer. Now you can either do that by creating one or by regenerating one using an existing seed phrase. In this case, we're going to create one. So type comex key create, and then just put the name of your key. We're going to pick my key. Press enter. Alright, so here is your key's address and here's the name. Now, just for extra good measure, I'm going to show you how to find the seed phrase for that newly created key. Now, first type comex key show and then add --help. When you add --help, this will show you how to use that specific command, show in this case. So here you can see that you need to type comex key show with the option of --show private. Let's test that. And there is your seed phrase. Perfect. All right, let's move on. Next, let's clone the Mosaic repo. All right, open up the Mosaic Subnet folder. All right, so we need to enter the poetry shell, and you do this by typing poetry shell. And once you're in there, type poetry install, and this will install all the dependencies that you will need. All right, let's check the public IP of this miner. There you go. Now copy that, save that. Perfect. Now I'm going to clear this away before we move on. All right, so the next command is going to be a little bit longer one. And I like to open up Notepad, paste in the next command. Now here, I want to change the module name. And then you want to change to the key that you created or just regenerated. Add the public IP that we just found. And change to the port number that you want to use. Copy it and paste it into your Ubuntu. And off we go. Now, we have already registered our own module, so I'm going to go ahead and answer no to this one. You're going to have to answer yes, of course, if you want to register your own module. Now, please do not forget about the burn fee. This fee will go up and down depending on network usage. So, you may be wondering, what do I need a module for when we are setting up a miner? Well, think of the module basically as your calling card for your miner. In the module, you have the miner's IP address, the port number, and also the key associated with that miner. So, you set up the module, all the validators can access that module and see what IP number and port they need to use to access and send requests to your miner. It's a really easy way to keep track of everything. All right, so next we want to test that the miner is working. And if you just copy the command from our guide, open up Notepad again. Now change to your key name. Now change the host. Now, what the host value does is it tells your miner who can access it. Now, say that there was some reason that you only wanted one specific validator to be able to send your miner requests. Then you would add that validator's IP here. And then everything else would be blocked, but that validator would work. Now, in this case, we want every validator on the whole planet to be able to send lovely, lovely requests to us, right? So in this case, we add 0.0.0.0. And that means that any IP or validator can send us requests, right? Oh, and don't forget to change to the port number that you used before when you register, right? Right, copy the command and paste into your Ubuntu and run it. Now, this is going to take a little while. And there you go. This is what it looks like when a miner is up and running. And you should see requests start to come in. And technically, we could stop here. The miner is up and running and we're done. But we're going to take it a step further and we're going to set it up into Docker as well. Now, the Mosaic team has prepared, so it's really easy to set up in Docker. Thank you for that. All right, press Ctrl-C to quit this, and let's just clear the screen. Now, if you haven't rebooted after installing Docker, you're going to need to at least restart the Docker service. Now, this is to make sure that Docker has access to all those lovely CUDA cores on your GPU. All right, restart the service. All right, so we're going to copy the next part into our Notepad again, just so we can edit it quickly. Now, we need to update the key name, we need to update the host and the port. Now, just copy it and then paste it back into your Ubuntu. Now, I don't need to tell you to do that anymore, because I think you know how to do that now. And I suspect that you always did. All right, so now you've started the miner, but you have no idea what's going on. And you need to check the logs. But first, we need to find the ID of that container. So, you do this by typing docker ps-a. And here is your container, and just copy the container ID. All right, now type docker logs and paste in the ID that you just copied. Now, this will show you the latest output of that Docker container. Now, this is good, but it's not always what you want. Most of the time, you would like to tail that Docker container. Now, this means that you will see continuous output and you will be seeing all the logs that are coming in directly as they happen. And you do this by typing docker logs -- follow and then the container ID. Now, this is the way to do it if you want to continuously see what's going on. Now, you also have the option to enable auto upgrade. And this will periodically check for the latest Mosaic Docker image. It will pull it, restart the running containers with that new image. Now this option is at the bottom of our GitHub guide. The Mosaic team have made it really easy to keep everything up to date. So you should do this if you're running everything in Docker. And there you go. Now you have your very own commune-ai miner running on the Mosaic Subnet. Well done, people. Well, that's all for today. Another quick tutorial completed. And if you're still watching and you made it this far, you might as well press the like button. I mean, come on, there must have been something you liked and it helps us so much. All right, until next time, keep learning. Peace.